When a physical space is permanently locked away, our minds immediately fill the void with suspicion. We see the sealed doorways of monuments like the Taj Mahal, and we naturally wonder what uncomfortable truths might be buried inside. This institutional habit of sealing off the past is now unfolding in the open air at the 450-year-old battlefield of Haldighati in Rajasthan. Take a look at this red and white information board standing on the battlefield road. It was recently installed by the Archaeological Survey of India during the 450th Shaurya Diwas. On the surface, it looks like standard documentation, but it actively leaves out highly documented facts. Reading through the text, a glaring omission emerges. The Rajput king who commanded the invading Mughal forces, Mirza Raja Man Singh I, has been entirely erased from the official record. Removing the actual general who stood on the battlefield creates a false binary. It frames the complex military engagement as a direct, one-on-one duel between Emperor Akbar and Maharana Pratap. By altering the text on these plaques, the nation's premier archaeological body has modified the physical archive of the site, changing the entry point for anyone trying to understand the battle. To see what was actually removed from the record, we have to look at the geometry of the 1576 campaign as recorded by the people who were actually there. This map visualizes a glaring geographical contradiction. The new plaques claim the Mughal forces approached from Kumbhalgarh. In reality, multiple historical texts confirm the Mughal army marched from Ajmer, navigating an entirely different strategic route. When this visual morphs into a comparative bar chart, another discrepancy appears. The ASI presents troop counts, exactly 5,000 Mughals against 1,900 Rajput cavalry and 1,000 Bhil warriors, as if they were settled facts. Yet, 19th century court historians documented at least 4 massively different estimates. The plaque's numbers don't match any single authoritative source. Mirza Raja Man Singh I designed the actual Mughal approach, providing the strategic architecture for the entire 1576 campaign. Without his name, the logic of the invasion disappears. It also deletes the most famous moment of the entire engagement. In the heat of the fight, Maharana Pratap drove his horse, Chetak, directly into a frontal assault on Raja Man Singh's elephant, a high-stakes clash that defined the day's combat. Sanitizing the geography and cutting out key figures strips away the true strategic brilliance and the brutal scale of Maharana Pratap's resistance. The complexities of Man Singh extend far beyond the combat itself. After Maharana Pratap executed a strategic retreat from Haldighati, Man Singh made a decision that infuriated his own superiors. He actively prevented the Mughal army from pursuing him. He was a commander who spared his opponent. This kind of diplomatic nuance is exactly what gets lost when history is flattened into a story of simple villains and heroes. This brings us to historiography, the study of how history is written. The reason we are still debating the victor of Haldighati 450 years later is because history is rarely recorded by a single neutral observer. Look at this Persian manuscript. Official court historians employed by Emperor Akbar, like Badiuni, documented the battle as a decisive imperial victory, ensuring it was recorded that way in the state archives. But local folklore and regional Dingle poetry recorded a Mewar victory. They recognized that Pratap's survival and subsequent years of relentless guerrilla warfare ultimately exhausted the invading forces. Relying exclusively on one lens destroys the broader truth. When the ASI chooses a single narrative for their plaques, they are opting for political clarity over academic honesty. We have to consider the cost of this institutional curation. Portraying an opposing commander like Raja Man Singh as a cartoonish villain or erasing him entirely backfires. It diminishes the opponent, and in doing so, it diminishes the genuine complexity of Maharana Pratap's lifelong struggle for sovereignty. This institutional silence mirrors the impenetrable archways of the Taj Mahal, where the absence of information creates a permanent shadow over the documented past. A history heavily edited to be convenient is no longer history. It is simply modern propaganda applied retroactively to people who are no longer here to defend their own stories. We have to decide whether our institutions have the right to simplify the past, or if we must accept the bitter, complex truth over a comfortable fiction.